Again, there's no such thing as work-life balance. Don't shoot me or don't throw anything at me for the moment. I'll explain in brief detail how I came upon that particular thing. See, in each person, we have about 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, right? And in 24 hours multiplied by 7 is about 168 hours a week, right? Okay, so when we say work-life balance, it's practically work and life. And by the way, balance came from a Latin word called bilax, which practically means two scale pans. In the olden times, they used scale pans to weigh things. And that's how they usually do business, right? You weigh the silver versus a particular weight. That's why you tend to know that it is of a particular value, and so on and so forth. So let's see, 168 hours in a week. Let's see if there's such a thing as balance on this one. If you're like me, probably you would have about 9 hours a day for work, multiplied to 5 days a week. That would be about 45. Travel time, especially here in Metro Manila, would be about 5 hours to and fro, right? Average. That doesn't include when you have a Manny Pacquiao fight going on. Okay, so 5 hours multiplied, that's 49, right? 49 minus 98 a while ago would leave us 49. This includes your chores at home, your reading, your so on and so forth. So just by looking at this, you would already know there's no such thing as work-life balance. We're doomed. However, there's also what you call lenses, worldviews, from which we look at how things are and how things work. And this is where I would want to share with you some new lenses from which we can look at life, where we can look at how we do things and how we'd probably be able to cope with these kinds of things happening in our life, right? So I would like to share with you a simple thing. Three things that would help you out. And that has also helped me out in my career and in my life. Number one, don't balance, prioritize. So if you prioritize, see, you have this saying, if everything is important, nothing is. You may argue that there are a lot of things that you can do, you want to do. That's right. But you only have limited amount of time to do all of them. And that's why there are certain things that you have to choose over the other, because there are certain things that are more important than others, right? So if you prioritize, you would have to say no to some and say yes to some, or no to one and yes to one. Now, we always juggle. Things are in our lives, in our work, we always juggle. There are two types of things we juggle. One is a glass ball, which, by the way, also is a very beautiful, it lights up. And there's this rubber ball. This rubber ball, you can usually let go of, drop, and it will bounce again, right? But glass balls in our lives are things that if you drop, they'll eventually break. And that's how you can also probably see how you would be able to prioritize things. So in my case, I have prioritized it like this: God, family, personal development, and then the rest, in that order. See, if you believe like I do, that somebody up there knows better than you do and what you can't do, it would probably be wise to connect with him first. And if your family is as important as it is for me as well, then second for that one. Personal development means that I would have to develop myself, health, mentally, spiritually, everything, so that I can do more with what I have, right? It just makes, don't balance. you integrate. So I'll have to show you on this one. Okay, so integrate. So when you integrate, this means that you don't see, most of us look at life as this: work, right? And then you have life. Right? And you try to go from one point to the other. But see, I don't know where it came from. I don't know what made it happen as such, that work became separate from what life is. But in fact, it isn't, and it shouldn't be. See, what we should do actually is that we should look at life like this. It's your life in general. Right? And work is part of it. So is your family. So is your hobbies. So is your studies, and so on and so forth. So is your boyfriend, girlfriend, kuya, ate, and so on and so forth. That's how it is. So life is what you are right now. Funny thing is that, whenever we see people who are doing illegal things, they're the ones who integrate their families in it and are not ashamed of it. Like corrupt officials, gambling lords, drug lords, whatever lords. Right? You see that they always integrate their work and their family very well. And how come us in the corporate world, who practically also do some decent stuff, we don't try to integrate our families, our lives, into what we do on a day-to-day basis? What's up with that? Lastly, right, let's not balance. Let's be present. What do I mean by that? So whenever we are in one area, okay, whenever we are in one area, be there 100%. Focus. So how many of us have been guilty of this one? When we are at work, we do personal stuff. But when we are at the personal stuff, we do work. Right? So be there 100%. When you're at work, work. But when you're in your vacation, don't go get your laptop and open it and try to email it thinking that you're so, workaholic. It just doesn't work. When you're there, that's how it is. So don't balance. You be sure that you're there 100%. Be present. So that whenever I imagine people trying to balance work and life, where do you see people trying to do these kinds of things, balancing act? In circus. I don't know about you, but I don't want to be called a clown or a circus act. So instead of becoming a circus act, why don't we all try to make our lives a lot more meaningful, which I believe God has given us that privilege, not to just live, but also to live a very meaningful and abundant life. Jesus once said, He has come that you may have life and have it to the full. So don't balance, prioritize, integrate, and be present. I hope I was able to impart to you some small tokens, small learning for your daily lives. Thank you so much.